Hello out there, it's Wednesday. Welcome back to Recall Knowledge presents Outlaws of Alkenstar, a show where Pathfinder enthusiasts play through your favorite adventure paths. I'm your GM, Steve, and I'm joined by Ricardo, Richard, Ninna, and Tommy. Go ahead, everyone, and say, howdy, Outlaws.
Howdy, Outlaws. Oh, man.
Everyone joining us for the first time, welcome, and everyone who's been with us before, welcome back. We're happy you're with us again. Tonight, we are delving back into Cradle of Quartz, which, again, we are playing on Foundry VTT using the new premium module by Sigil Entertainment. And last week's going to be hard to top, you guys. Like, that was a fun week, a fun episode. You know, hit me right in the feels. The show must go on, right? We can't. So here's the deal. We can't make ourselves and our audience cry every week, right?
This is objectively true, I guess. I only got so many tears. If you did it, then it would become like we'd transition very quickly from, oh God, we feel bad, to, yes, someone died again. This is the grim and dark future that we play in. And that would ruin the vibes of Bastion. And you guys don't want that.
Yeah. Feed my dark soul.
So hopefully tonight is more of a lighthearted, fun, and back to the normal level of campaigns. But you know what? I'm not promising anything. I reserve the right to kill any character at any time if the dice say so. With that being said, let's move on to our announcements for the night. And our first announcement is that this episode is sponsored by none other than our friends at Molten Hosting.
They are so hot.
They're on fire.
Just in case, if any of you at home have been on media blackout this month, you might not have heard the really important news that's going on. And I know it's a little weird to use our platform as a place for important announcements, but I wanted to take a minute and just highlight what I consider a very serious, very important news story. But I can't do it justice. I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go ahead and roll our newsreel. Parents may want to cover your children's ears for this one. Good evening, America, and welcome to News That Matters. I am Milo Rodriguez.
And I am Valentina Anderson. Tonight's top story, Halloween, harmless fun or deadly disaster?
It's that time of year when parents send their kids out dressed in costumes, trusting that your neighbors aren't trying to secretly poison your children for leaving their bikes in their driveways. A risky move any way you slice it.
Yeah. And in the 21st century, we all know you can't be there to protect your kids against everything. Sometimes you have to trust that they will be able to recognize the rainbow fentanyl from the Skittles so you can get back to watching The Masked Singer.
Oh, I love that squirrel.
I'm more of an octopus fan myself, but in tonight's report, we share in a danger sweeping the nation how a GM can stop worrying about their players and let them do things themselves.
We head on down to our on-scene field reporter, Keith Brochure, with more on this story. Keith.
That's right, Milo. I scrolled up too high so I don't see where I'm talking. Heck, the Night Stalker, Jeffrey Dahmer, Elon Musk buying Twitter. Are those what's keeping people up at night this spooky season? Experts say no. There is something far more scary plaguing our country, and it's letting go of the idea that the GM will always be there for their players. I have with me now longtime GM and Twitter user, hashtag I love natural 20s, Chuck. Chuck, can you tell us what's going on?
Well, Keith, it's simple, really. Players these days are too used to being coddled by their GMs. They won't read a rulebook, they don't know what a 3-action economy is, and they don't even spend their third action at a map -10 attack. It's a travesty.
Oh, that's horrible, but why now?
It's the plague that the new, more accessible TTRPG has brought to the market. GMs everywhere are expected to do more, and it's causing GM burnout at an incredible rate. I'll give you an example. I do not have a girlfriend.
That doesn't surprise me, but care to elaborate?
Certainly. Thanks to my thankless job bringing Pathfinder to the masses, I am forced to stay glued to my computer at all hours of the day. I don't have any time for dating, watching The Math Singer, or anything else.
Including showering, it seems.
Exactly! It's a burden that all true GMs must deal with.
Actually, experts have given us good ways to mitigate this sort of GM burnout, Chuck. By chance, do you self-host your games on Foundry?
Of course, my Unix server rack is set up in my shower right now.
Oh my gosh.
God damn it. Well, if you were to use a cloud hosting provider like Molten Hosting, you'd free up so much more of your time.
Self-hosting noobs, but those instances turn themselves off with inactivity. I need to be ready to turn on my worlds whenever my players ask.
Actually, with Molten Hosting's Magic Link, you never have to babysit your servers again. Simply set a default world. My headphones have just fallen apart. That's
Oh no!
lovely. Within Foundry, give your players the secret Magic Link, and all they need to do is launch that URL. Your Foundry will start up and load your world automatically, without any GM involvement.
I don't trust it. How can I trust you if your headphones fall apart?
But I'd let you get those servers out of the shower. Maybe clean yourself up. You could get that girlfriend you were talking about.
No, I'll pass. I have a body pillow. I don't think I want to trust using a service like that. What if I don't like it?
Well, luckily, when you were signing up for a new service, if you use the referral code Recall Knowledge
One word.
at checkout, oh shit, that was later. Might be. You can get your entire first month of service for free. If GMs would just take these simple precautions, we could end this entire GM burnout pandemic. Jeez, in no time. What do you think of that?
I don't trust anything these so-called experts tell me. It's all a conspiracy. I'll stick with my filth-covered server babysitting gig.
Well, it seems there's no end in sight to this horrible travesty. Signing off, this is Keith Brochure with your word from the street. Milo and Valentina, back to you.
Oh, what a horrible thing. You know, Valentina, I use Molten Hosting myself.
Yes, Milo. We all know how you use TTRPGs as your only social interaction with people since your wife left you last year.
When we return, we have a deep investigative report coming your way.
Dice. Are they actually random? Or are the impurities costing you the natural 20s you deserve? Don't go anywhere. Back after these messages.
There's no transition out of that. It just ends.
Rick.
Anyways, thanks. Big thanks to Molten Hosting for sponsoring tonight's episode. Head on over to moltenhosting.com to find out more information about their service. It's the hosting service we use for our show, and we highly suggest that you use it for yours. You can take a shower, get a girlfriend, and use the magic link. Solves all your problems. And when you sign up for new service, use the referral code Recall Knowledge.
One word!
That's one word, Tom.
Only.
You get your entire first month of service for free. Perfect to give it a test run and see exactly what benefits you'll get. Everyone, that's gonna do it for announcements. Oh wait, no, we got one more announcement. I didn't write in the script, but we do need to announce it. Richard, why don't you go ahead and tell the people?
This coming Friday is the midway season for Bastion. So episode 4 of Bastion will be premiering tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific here on Twitch. If you do not watch it, you are a loser. No, just kidding. You're not a loser, but please join us.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and that'll be this Friday night on the same channel right here. You can catch it live on Twitch now. If you're one of our Patreon subscribers, you get early access to the videos. Otherwise, you got to wait for it to premiere on YouTube somewhere down the road. It's coming. But we're going to release them probably in a batch when they're all together. We're still working out the details. Keep your eyes on our YouTube channel. All right. That out of the way. That's going to do it for our announcements. Welcome back, Rick. Nice to hear your voice again. Viewers, go ahead, sit back, relax, and players. Let's jump into episode 2 of Outlaws of Alkenstar, Cradle of Quartz, written by Scott DeYoung. Let's go! Welcome back, Cradle of Quartz. So, when we last left our heroes, we found ourselves searching for the missing inventor slash alchemist slash crazed eccentric man known as Kosowana, who has been missing and presumably chased out of town by none other than your rival, Ambrost. And with a stop by the Temple of Brigh and a chat with some nosy neighbors, you found yourself scouting his workshop here on the western edge of Alkenstar. And when we last left off, our crew had sort of decided that their approach to the warehouse was going to be through Kosowana's loading docks on the backside of his workshop. So our camera sort of fades in from black, and we see our outlaws sort of cautiously working their way up towards the back of the workshop. The loading docks themselves are covered in a thin sheet metal rusted roof that sort of gives you a bit of shade from the sun above. Wooden beams prop them up like over your head, and the whole area is covered in scuff marks and broken wood beams. And there is a door that leads into the workshop. And also here are 4 or 5 loading dock doors. Each door is about like 10 feet wide by like 8 feet tall. And they're raised off the ground about 6 feet, which would be the perfect height to sort of back in a carriage or delivery vehicle of some kind and load heavy equipment right into the workshop. Find yourself standing here in the back porch of this dude's laboratory. And I think one thing I got to call out that when we did last episode, we didn't know if Anita was really going to make it or not, right? So we didn't really realize until we took the time after last episode is that the one thing that you guys as the camera might surprise you looking at the scene is Wybert has gotten huge.
Actually, that's large. Huge is the next size category up.
Oh my god, you're technically correct. The best kind of correct. Wybert is now officially like a large creature. So whereas before he was, pretty decently sized and probably big as, if not bigger than Anita, now new Wybert is like massive and towering. So maybe Anita can give us a guide on what Wybert's like, because you spent a lot of this downtime doing this, right? You've improved Wybert, you've made changes to him. Now, a large creature. Why don't you describe maybe what Wybert looks like now after his transformation?
So during the downtime that Anita had, with the new space that Halbrand generously gave her in that workshop, she used up a lot of... Wybert's knees are pretty much extended by scrap metal that she found in the workshop. The core has been enhanced in the sense that she's figured out more stabilizing agents that not only makes him more powerful, but like faster too, depending. Anita's always dreamt of having a robot that was bigger than her, so that, you know, like in the event that she can't run as fast or go as fast as everyone else, she can just ride her robot and then keep up. That's pretty much her.
Are you riding Wybert?
Yes! He has a saddle, kind of like the dragon riders in Game of Thrones.
Right. I'm going to pop over here just show the battle screen real quick, just to kind of show what we're describing. And also, if you're out there and you guys are aware of any good modules that can kind of facilitate Foundry to have like sort of mounted creatures on each other, so you can like combine the tokens into like one thing and it's compatible with Pathfinder, hit us up in the comments and let me know, because I want to use that module to do this. So yeah, this is you guys standing on the back of the porch, and this is freaking Wybert. As can be with
large as can be, actually. Shit, there's so much fire.
No fire.
Yeah, we kind of load in. Wybert's carrying Anita in. You guys are kind of in this space. You look back on you. The street's like open behind you. The sort of like tin roof slopes up to the top of the building. You know, this area is protected from the sun, from the weather, but the bay doors, I think I said 6 feet higher. They're actually 3 feet higher than street level, but the doors themselves are like pretty tall. I think the illusion is they're raised off the ground for loading and unloading. But you guys find yourself standing here. What would you guys like to be doing?
So I think Saruk is gonna, when we get where we're going. Oh god, I forget the name of the exploration activity. That's shield up, then have it raised for first round defend.
Defend. Yeah, defend.
So that. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Anita is still a cyborg and she's going vroom vroom.
Does Wybert have a like soundboard that says vroom vroom now? Do you have a button that you push? He says
It's
vroom.
it's definitely just Annie just sitting on there going vroom vroom.
No, yeah. I haven't oiled up yet, so it's Anita that's going vroom vroom.
So I'm gonna go to the door. I would like to take a look at it and see if it's safe to open, if I could, please.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception check as you check it out. And then as far as Saruk's doing a defend exploration activity, I know I don't even have to ask how. Hal's probably scouting, because that's Halbrand's thing. What about for Ruffy and Anita?
I am on the ready in case. Wait, do I have? I don't even have tools for it. I will defend as well. I have a shield.
Ruffy's just waiting to shoot something, as usual.
So, looking around, right, Saruk, you sort of step forward and look at this door. It doesn't take much to see that it's not locked, because it's actually not fully closed. It looks like somebody has sort of busted this door like off its hinges, and it's pushed in a closed position, but the sort of splintering of wood around the lock pretty much gives away that you could just open this without issue. It doesn't appear to be trapped at all. It just looks like somebody else has already been here and kicked.
Gotcha.
It opens out towards you though, like not in. It opens away from the building, so somebody looks like somebody on the inside kicked it in out, or somebody on the outside would have crowbarred it open.
Makes sense. Okie doke. I'm just trying to real quick find the raised shield so I can jam it to my hotbar. I appreciate you. I would like to open the door.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and open that door. The door opens without Out issue, you see that there is immediately like a sort of staircase that raises up about like 3 feet in. So you kind of go up the stairs and you find yourself sort of standing on this large wooden loading dock on the western edge of the warehouse. There are several sloping ramps that lead to this wooden platform that looks to be about 6 feet above the bottom of the workshop floor. There's the 10-foot wide bay doors lining the west wall behind you. There are scuff marks everywhere on this loading dock from all the heavy stuff that's been loaded in and out of here. And as your eyes sort of drift towards the rest of the warehouse, you see a large disheveled mess, right? There's a giant cluttered workshop, pieces of clockwork spread everywhere, clocks that are lining tables and shelves all over the workshop, just dozens and dozens of clocks. A couple of doors that look like they lead to different rooms on the eastern end. From where you're standing, you can see in the northeastern edge of this room, it looks like a makeshift bunker with like really thick sandbags, as well as blast marks sort of scuffing the ground. A big mess. Junk everywhere.
And there's no immediate signs of danger.
Zaruk, you push your way in. The door opens without issue. You step up the sort of wooden walkway and find yourself on top of a large loading dock that stands about 6 feet above the warehouse floor below you. Looking across, you see a couple of ramps that kind of lead down into the workshop. Behind you on either side are 3 large 10-foot wide bay doors that can be used to load stuff in and out. The floor beneath your feet is so scuffed with marks from machinery being loaded in and out of here. This place has definitely seen some heavy use. And as your eyes drift eastward across the workshop, you find piles and piles of like pieces of clockwork, alchemical gear. Rafters above you are like laced with like cobwebs and like tiny like sheet metal. Rusted roof continues in here. The two most things you see the most is clocks. There are lots of clocks in this workshop. Big clocks, small clocks, desktop clocks, grandfather clocks. It seems like this guy's got a thing for clocks and they're all over his workshop. But also your eyes sort of drift towards the northeast corner, this inventor's workshop, where you see a makeshift bunker of sorts, surrounded with like very thick piles of sandbags and blast scorch marks, the telltale signs of, you know, explosives being set off here in this workshop. And it doesn't appear immediately that there are anything moving or anything alive. It just looks like a desolated, junk-filled hoarder's workshop of an eccentric inventor.
Gotcha. And that 21 perception check confirms that there's not anything going to jump out at us.
Yep, you're looking and it doesn't look like there's anything active, moving. Everything seems to be very quiet in here.
Gotcha. It's clear. And then I'll move in to make room for the team.
You guys that kind of follow Saruk in, you guys see the similar layout and the similar features of this this workshop. Wybert sort of squeezes his body. He's got to do the squeeze action to sort of get into the doorway and scrape the edges, but he makes it in. You can feel, Anita, as you're riding Wybert, this like wooden platform is like pretty much reinforced, but it does sag on every single step that Wybert takes. You can kind of feel the floor sagging beneath you with all that weight.
Oh, this is an old building.
It is.
Anything of import in here, or?
I'm going to be honest, I feel like this is your entire bag, my friend. What do you think? Is there anything of import
I'm going to look
here?
around. I'm going to hop off a Wybert.
This is my flavor text for cluing you in for an impending check about it.
Is there anything of import here? I would like to look around.
I mean, is there any of the features that I've described that you take a particular interest in, you're interested in checking out? Or anything on the map that you see that draws your eye?
The clockworks at first, like, are they anything that I'm familiar with? Is it new technology that he was trying to do? Was he trying to? Yeah,
he's got a bit of different clockwork stuff going on around the workshop. It seems like this nook over here is kind of the main sort of where the main clockworks activity sort of is, and there is a sort of, it looks like there's like a pile of parts and like junk over here. So you kind of step up close. You can make a perception or a crafting check or an academic lore check. You can let me know what sort of recall knowledge you're trying to take as you are looking at over this place.
Okay. Kosowana. What does it know? Okay, so I'd like to... Anita would like to know what type of clockworks these are. Like, what was he trying to make, essentially? Yeah.
Great.
Crafting
works.
Blam. I can't drag clue in on you, but you can drag it to yourself, Anita.
Yeah, get that clue in effect.
Clue in. I am clued in. Huzzah! That's a 31.
Okay. So you're kind of like looking over this. This is nothing revolutionary. It's fairly generic clockwork tech. It's the standard gears and winding up keys and things that give it, there's nothing revolutionary about the clockwork devices that you're looking at. Although you see sort of laid out in front of you, there are some interesting gadgets and gizmos and things that it looks like maybe there are some things he's been trying. There's some diagrams that your eyes kind of glance over that looks like potentially he's been working on an alternate power source, and that might replace the sort of clockwork wind-up key device that most clockworks have. But it looks like it's all theoretical at this point, nothing concrete. And as you're sort of looking over those plans, you guys that are all like standing here, I think maybe even like you guys realize that Anita's so focused on like this blueprints and looking into this inventor's sort of mind. There's this pile of like parts and what looked like a half assembled, like sort of shut down clockwork device. The eyes sort of like click open and it starts rumbling from beneath the pile and shaking all of the like loose bits as it stands at attention. And this creature right here in this kind of bay is sort of rumbling to life now that he's been alerted to your guys' presence. I need all of you to roll initiative.
Could Anita have had pocketed those blueprints for the power source, though?
Yeah, you can go ahead and add those. Like, just like snatch them up. You grab them, and then as you're like putting them in your pocket, you turn and look, and you see everyone else is freaking out because this clockwork is spinning life next to you.
So it feels reasonable that I would roll crafting for this, because that was the thing I was helping Anita do.
I will allow you to roll crafting as a thing, because you're probably looking at this thing. Maybe your crafting will allow you to. Oh man, that's a natural one on the initiative.
Rip.
24. For Hal.
Nice. Remember, you guys do get a circumstance bonus, so if it makes a difference to break the ties from the sort of crafting.
I always forget that.
What was your level 4 feat on Halbrant?
My level 4 feat is, where are you? Sleep, knockdown. Scout's charge.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got the archetype feat too. The Scout's charge one was pretty cool.
And terrain stalker.
Knockdown. Make a melee strike. If it hits and deals damage, you can attempt an athletics check to trip the creature you hit. Both attacks count towards your map, but the penalty doesn't increase until you make both of them. Okay, that's kind of fun. So you can basically get like a free trip attempt on your strike.
Yep.
Is that a? It's only a one action.
No, I'm pretty sure it is a. Let me look at the details. It is 2 actions.
It is a 2 action. Oh yeah, I see it. It should say it more. It should say it like more accurately in the chat box it's in. Welcome back, Ninna.
Someone decided to pull out the internet.
You've heard this at home.
Your internet.
Do not pull out the internet.
Gotcha.
A natural one
I love
for
how
Nate.
3/4 of the cast has rolled a natural
Right?
one.
What is with all these natural ones? I mean, you guys are all
A real tech night.
wow. Yeah. So Reficule was your natural 1. Did that include the bonus on the
It
plus
did.
2 bonus?
Yes, I put in the +2 circumstance bonus.
Got it. So I think technically Saruk has a 13.
Right.
So I can bump that up. above Ruffy. But yeah, you guys seem like you're caught off guard, but you know who's not caught off guard? The person who's on watch and paranoid about everything all the time. Hal Brent.
Especially
He
now.
was scouting.
Beastwood, exactly. So Hal, you were the first to recognize something going wrong, and you get to jump on this creature. What would you like
Would I
to
have
do?
my weapon out, or do I? Have
Oh,
to pull it out?
absolutely. Yeah, you guys walked into like
Okay.
a freaking dangerous thing. I assumed you definitely had your weapon out.
I will stride to this beast as it looks at Anita, and I will look back at it with ferocity in my eyes, and I will try to attempt to knock it down.
All right, new feats in action. Woo!
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
I believe you make the melee strike. If it hits and deals damage, then you get to attempt the trip.
That's a cool looking clockwork, by the way.
Mhm.
And not too bad, huh? Let me see if I can.
I've seen that art across several books and several
23,
editions.
that's
Wow.
a hit.
Whoa,
This
so
is the first
cool.
time I fought it.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Right, it looks pretty cool. So yes, a 23 will hit. Ooh, look at that. Nice damage roll.
Nice
17.
damage.
It is a clockwork creature, and it is resistant 5 to your physical damage. So it takes, oh, I did it wrong.
It's resistant, so it takes more damage.
Right?
Nice.
12 damage. There we go. Take 12 points of damage. But that does allow you hit and dealt damage. You can make that athletics check to trip the creature. You're targeting
I
the
will.
creature's reflex DC.
all right. That is 25,
A 25 will be a success.
and it is
Nice.
terrific.
So, success, the target falls and lands prone.
But that is my move and 2 actions, and that ends my turn.
All right, you attack, you sweep the legs. This thing crashes onto the ground.
Sweep the leg.
Yeah, you swept the leg, bringing it to its turn. So,
So it's like the new and improved snagging strike.
kind of, yeah.
Well, I'm hoping it has to get up.
Yeah, I mean, so it doesn't have to, right? But if it doesn't, it's going to be in a bad position. So I'm just looking. Yeah, I think what it does is it spends its first action standing up, which
Can I whack it?
yeah, this is a move action which triggers your opportunity attack.
I would like to take opportunity attack to strike this
You mean
creature.
it doesn't have kip up?
Does not have kip up, no.
Acha.
Ooh, that's a new effect.
That's a critical hit.
32
Oh,
damage.
sheesh.
Wow. -5 because it is resistant, so it takes 27 points of damage, and this thing's
Damn.
looking really freaking rough already, and it hasn't done
Let's
anything
go.
but get knocked down and stand up.
Looks up. There is a death machine.
Ah, again.
It targets Hal with its giant, like oversized fist. It's got like pretty thick sort of plating, and it does like sort of reach out with its fist and try to strike you, Hal. So I need to double check. Actually, I think for the critical hits on opportunity attacks, it only interrupts manipulate actions. Correct? It doesn't interrupt move actions. Okay, just checking. You didn't like force it to stay down. So with the 22, that is a hit. So that is going to deal some damage. 14 points of damage.
Oof.
And then it's going to use the first, third, and final action. It uses the push ability. So as it cracks you in your chest, you can kind of feel like the force of it right in your chest. You get pushed back 5 feet away from it. So you slide back like 5 feet across the workshop. But that was all 3 of its actions. Saruk.
All right, kids, you know what it is. Untap, upkeep, devise a stratagem. I'm just gonna roll the strike with the Giselle. Oh, blah.
All right. It's going to be a 24.
You know, I think I'll take it. Does 24
24
hit?
does it.
I think I'll, for free, drop my shield, interact to, well, no, never mind. I keep thinking it's 2-hand D12. I'll fire that one hand.
Yeah, you can fire one hit.
10 damage.
All right. So it is resistant 5. So I'll remove. Actually, wait. Let me see. All physical. Okay. I know you got that. What's it called? Concussive. So it takes 5 points of damage. Hits it, but it stays up.
Okay, then I need to check the action economy on new feat. I think is it a
New
free action?
feet.
It's a free fucking. I wanna go look up this in archives and ethics. You'll see, it's gonna be tight as hell. Let me I want to be 1000% sure this is a free action. It doesn't feel free action worthy.
Looking tight as hell is always a free action.
Thank you. I do what I can every day. I'll link it while archives and ethics struggles. The feat in question is shared strategy. I've hit the thing that I got devise a strat with. I can pick an ally, and the bad guy is flat-footed to their next attack.
Yes.
Mechanically, it's going to go to whoever is next in initiative. Good. I wanted it to go to Rafi. Yeah, that's a free action. Tight. So
That's cool.
brings up the gun, fires, hits it somewhere generally towards where the eye is. It staggers back a little, gives Rafi an opening. Rafi, you're up. And
Nice.
I'm gonna step like this. I'm gonna not move my token. There we go. Last action is to step up into its face. And
Okay.
that is my turn.
All right. Refi, you're up.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Free action, I'm going to draw pistol. Free action, I'm going to
That's new,
Use
actually,
my-
for
get
Refi.
into the fray
If
to stride towards the enemy.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you who can track at home, Refi spending an action to draw his pistol. That's new.
But the striding towards them, that's new.
Okay, yeah.
Third action, I'm going to aim down so I don't actually accidentally hit any of my
I think part of the thing you're doing here too, right, is you're on a platform that's 6 feet above this creature. So it's standing at full height. Its head is just below you already anyway. So you're kind of already aiming down at it from up here.
Actually, I would have gone over this way.
Okay.
So I shoot. That's not that it makes a difference, but
Huh?
story-wise, I shoot that way, not towards Annie. And I will
Already let her down once.
fire.
Rubbing it in.
Too soon.
Let's go. Let's go.
Nice.
That's a 21.
Well, they're flat-footed to it.
21. Oh, I didn't mark the flat-footed. Yeah, that's a hit.
All right. That is 10 points of damage.
All right, it is resistant 5. Takes the blast and it's still standing.
All right. Then is that flat-footed for the entire turn or just one strike?
Just the first strike.
The creature you hit is flat-footed to that ally on the next
Well,
attack.
Now with my feat, sword, and pistol, I shot it with a melee weapon. I shot it with a ranged weapon within reach. So it's
Uh-huh.
now flat-footed against my melee strikes.
Sweet.
And I would like to do a reloading strike.
Okay.
So
Ooh.
you see me fire, and then at the same time I twirl my pistol and go to strike the creature, and at the same time I flick a bullet right into the chamber and finish with a strike.
Nice.
Mr. Rook winces at the thought of someone punching a construct barehanded.
That's a map attack.
Rip.
No.
17 is going to be a miss, even with flat-footed.
Even with flat-footed.
Yes.
Damn.
I mean, I think you hit. It's just like a solid clung off of its metal body.
Mm-hmm. Third action, I will don't have good deception anymore. I would like to don't have that feat. Should I just strike again?
Strike again, aid Anita.
Yeah, I'll aid Annie in her attack.
Trying to think. So it was. How many actions have you spent so far? Was it an action to draw the weapon?
Nope.
That's still a free action. So just the stride and then the strike. You did a stride.
Stride is the free
Stride
action.
is also
into
part of the
fray.
free action.
I can stride towards an enemy that I can see. As long
Yes.
as I can move closer and I can see them, it's a free action to stride.
Right. My head's trying to wrap around the new Refi checklist. So you still have the one action
Mhm.
left. Yes.
One action, I'll aid Annie in her next
Okay.
attack. And your Wybird, same difference.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Anita, it's Anita's turn.
All right, I'm gonna spend 2 actions to give Wybird 3. Boom, boom, boom. Wybert's gonna move. Oh, that's too close to Reffy. Sorry, Reffy.
But you're too big now. Move back up.
Wybird smash.
So this will trigger Reffy's aid. So go ahead and roll the DC 20 aid check.
All right, how am I aiding him? Can't really do a feint. Can I do an unarmed strike to aid?
Yeah, go ahead and do an unarmed strike to aid. 16 is going to be not successful in aiding. So it's not a critical failure, so there's no penalty. Wyber just makes a straight up attack.
Okay, Wybird smash. Oh, look at the wrench. 25 to hit.
25 will hit, yes.
Okay, that would be 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right, resist 5, but it only had 1 hit point left, and Wybert kind of reaches down and just like Wybert smashes the thing to bits. Smash! It like collapses in upon itself. The sort of like crossbow it had mounted on its hand skitters to the floor, and the like last bit of like light in its eyes sort of like blinks out as you put an end to this clockwork creature.
Does Wybird look sad for killing one of his own?
Wybird is unique, not the average clockwork. You know better. Reload is Giselle.
So yeah, it does have a workable repeating crossbow mounted to it with a whole like 10 round magazine that you guys could scavenge from its body. It smashes right, and then you guys are sort of on adrenaline, and there's like that heart pumping moment where you're like on the lookout for like anything else that might be like here. And then there is a sort of like you hear like something like it sounds like a can sort of hits the ground behind you, and everyone sort of spins at the noise. But then you realize it's like a little can that's kind of cling to the ground, and your eyes like instinctively go up, and it seems like maybe there's something that's been scared that's in the rafters right now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. It looks like, if I'm understanding the map correctly, this is stairs you can access from here that go to a door, and then this ladder goes to like another platform, or
yeah. So these doors kind of go to these rooms. It's a slight little like staircase up to get to the doors because like the floor's a little sunken, right? Because the workshop's a little low. So like to go back to surface level, there are these 3 staircases leading to 3 different doors. But you are right. Like looking now that you're in here, you can see like there's this ladder. And it looks like there's a sort of loft crawl space above all of those rooms that a little ladder heads up to. And then above all of that, this whole room is sort of got that like steel tinned roof kind of, 12, 15 feet over your head. But up in there's like these wooden beams that are just the rafters of this place. And it seems like maybe something with your guys' loud noise has startled something up there that's hiding in the rafters.
can I try to perception up there and see what I don't see?
Yeah. Now that you're aware that something might be up there, go ahead and make that perception check.
Yeah, Reffy's got his pistol just aiming up.
I still had one more action earlier, so could I battle medicine Hal real quick with assurance?
Yeah, absolutely. If you'd like to battle medicine Hal, you absolutely could.
2d8 for you, Hal. You can roll it.
2d8.
So Reffy's got his gun trained on the ceiling, looking for something. Daruk is looking for where the source of that sound might be, and what you see sort of like hiding up in the rafters, kind of behind some wood that looks like it's trying to kind of hide its eye from peeking at you, is what appears to be a house cat.
A kitty!
There's a house cat that was up here in the rafters that seems like it's been startled by like the loud noise of your gunfire going off, and it's sort of like hiding from you guys and like watching you guys with curious interest.
I'm really bad at nature, but I don't give a darn. Cirque's gonna reach down into his bag, pull out something.
Lizard tails.
I was gonna say some of that clam meat from way back, but it was off at the time, so now it's probably just disintegrated somewhere.
Why would you keep clam meat in your pocket?
To feed cats, the stray animals of Alkenstar. Don't make it fucking weird. Here's a nature check. I want to handle an animal. This animal isn't. It'd be too out of character to suddenly fixate on this cat and use pursue a lead.
Yeah, you're gonna make this cat when you leave.
Tommy really wants to. 16.
Yeah, you basically get the little food out, and you're trying to sort of get the cat to kind of come down to you.
Hmm.
Just see real quick. Yeah, so you get the sort of clam meat. Is that what I heard you guys say it was?
Yeah, probably a lizard tail, realistically.
You get like everything out to try to like call to the cat. The cat looks at you with like kind of like a bit fear, right? Especially with the loud noises you've done. But with this like little nostril sort of flare, and it like sees what you're doing. You see it like sort of lick its lips, and it sort of like gently starts like sauntering over very cautiously in your direction, keeping a watchful eye on you. It seems like it's becoming curious. It's watching you. It's not scared of you, but it's not coming to you quite yet. It's still high up in the rafters, but you see it sort of making its way towards like the loft area where it could presumably jump back down to you guys. And it's watching you, Saruk, with a very interested eye.
So I'll go, I think loft area means this way. Oh, whoops. Means ruler tool over here. Got it. So I'm going to just go over there, set the food down. Heck. Go over there, set the food down, like up the ladder, set it down, and then move to like over to the side, give it space.
Yeah, you set that food down and you give it a little bit of space. And then as soon as you kind of back away, it's immediately like kind of leaping off the rafters to the stairs, hopping down the stairs, and it's like sniffing the food that you've left it. And it's like watching you, picks up like one of the lizard tails and like immediately hops back up the ladder into the rafters where it begins eating it.
So then before it hops up, when it grabs it, if I can, I think switching to Mwangi, so I'm guessing it might be familiar with the language. You come here. Come on. And then just try to get to like come closer to me.
Okay. So you all hear Saruk in speaking. I don't think you've spoken much Mwangi around this crew in particular, right?
There's been a lot of Xanda, but not a lot of Mwangi.
Okay. Do me a favor, make a diplomacy check.
I'm much better at those. You are a generous man. Watch out. 21.
Nice. You're very persuasive with your words towards this creature. And the way it like looks back at you eating its lizard tails, you immediately get the impression it has no idea what you're saying. It's not responding to the words as much as it's like very curiously like responding to the tone of your voice and everything, and you're putting it at ease. It seems like it likes being talked to, but you don't get the impression it understands what you're saying.
I'll just like move forward, try to, other than the hourglass collar, are they wearing anything significant?
It's hard to tell from up here. It does have like a big collar with like an hourglass necklace. That is the dominant thing that you can see. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to be wearing anything. It's just a normal house cat with a collar. But, with the food, it finishes the food and you're kind of being very nice with it. It sort of hops back down and lands on the ground and like does that really slow thing where it like gets real close to you and just stands just out of reach, where if you were to reach out, you just can't quite touch it. And it's like sniffing in your direction.
So I'm gonna, cat owners in the chat will understand. I'm gonna ball my hand into a fist and hold it out slowly forward to see if they won't.
Yep, it goes and gives a little sniff, and then it just kind of like takes your fist and like rubs it right against his cheek, and then kind of rubs against you, and then comes in and starts doing like figure 8 rubs on the inside of your legs, kind of knocking you off balance a little bit.
Well, you seem well fed and healthy. Are you
It meows like meow.
That is correct. I feel exactly the same, little one.
You can see he does have a collar, right? And you can see now that he's close to you, the collar does have a name, like kind of etched into it, and it's Masu, Masu.
Masu, that's a good name. Does that happen to mean anything in Mwangi on the off chance?
You give it a thought, and it doesn't strike anything that tickles your fancy.
Gotcha. Well, Masu, where is your humanoid? Where is Kosowana?
You see,
Are
it's
they
like
here?
it's sniffing at like the pocket where you have the food, and it's like pawing at it and scratching at it.
Yeah, that's Alkenstar. All right, here's another one.
Yeah, and it seems like it maybe hasn't been fed in a few days.
Go, Masu! You've turned into a chipmunk. This is a strange polymorph wild magic here in Alkenstar.
Yeah, the rest of you watch as like Saruk is like talking to this cat and befriending this cat. What are you guys doing watching Saruk spend like the few minutes it takes to sort of make friends with this cat?
Keeping an eye on Anita so she doesn't activate any more robots.
Refi is not pointing his pistol at the cat, but doesn't put it away and just looking at it very suspiciously.
Okay. Yeah, you can give me a sense motive check if you'd like. Perception.
All right. Question marks.
As your gun is trained on this thing, the more time you spend reading its body language in the situation, the less you feel threatened by the cat.
Gonna steal our food still. Why is it here?
I mean, I presume that they were Kosowana's. Plus, we have plenty of food.
Yeah, I mean, the cat continues to like eat the food you give it and like rub on you, and as it sort of gets more comfortable with you, it kind of starts sniffing, and you see it sort of like takes like a kind of a like its fur bristles a little bit as it looks over the room, and it sort of locks eyes with Halvin.
Yes, I know.
It's not hissing per se, but it's definitely got that like sort of like bristled fur, like danger pose.
They're fine, I promise. He's all bark and no bite. Unless you're that construct, in which case there was a significant amount of bite, but don't worry about it.
Talking to me or kitty cat?
Talking at cat about you. So basically at you, because you can understand.
Okay, better not bite me.
It's not gonna, and even if it does, it's not like it can hurt you. Not really.
It kind of follows you around, Saruk, and it's sort of doing everywhere you go, you feel it like getting underfoot. It's really good at being at your feet and just making you stumble everywhere you go.
Yeah, it's cats.
I'm just having Robert walk back and forth to see if maybe like he'll trigger any other robots.
Yeah, he sort of does a patrol through all the areas. Masu definitely, like, as Wybert comes by, like, definitely, like, gives him a wide berth and, like, sort of, like, hides as, like, the big robot comes through, you know? But Wybert sort of does a full patrol of the floor, like, you know, each nook over by the sort of bunker, all these other clockwork devices. Nothing seems to trigger. Nothing jumps out. Nothing happens as Wybert wanders the room.
Okay. And then I'll look at the blueprints for the new power source, and then Anita mutters under her breath, "A competitor," and then pockets it.
You get a little bit more of a chance to look it over before you pocket it. It seems like most of his research seems to be, Rybert's vrooming around the room, man.
Vybert's got the zoomies just like Masu.
It seems like he's been experimenting with like crystals as power source alternatives.
Oh. This is Kosowana?
Yes. Eventually, like, also Masu does what cats do and sort of does like a yawn stretch. He kind of wanders over towards this middle section up on this desktop, and he curls up and goes to sleep next to this sort of weird, like, there's this black wood box with like a crystal sort of mounted on top of it. It's kind of in the middle. It's not too noticeable, but Masu sort of jumps up, yawns, and curls up like right next to it and goes to sleep on this desk.
I'm gonna follow them over, and then when I'm at the desk, well, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's this weird sort of clockwork device. It definitely looks like a clock. It's got like some weird like strips of metal and tiny hammers sort of on it. There's like this weird crystal at its face, at the middle of it, and it immediately looks like a clock, right? It's got a clock face. You can see time is like ticking by, but oddly enough, as you look at it, Saruk, You notice where the numbers of a clock would be, there's actually little crystals in all of the 12 positions on the clock face. But this clock has 12. Instead of 12 numbers on its face, there's a 13th ordinal position. It's got 13 facets across it.
Huh. Does that strike me as anything that might point to like the Y of? Like, is that for like Brighites, say, or something like?
Possibly. I mean, do you have have you prepared a lore for the day that helps with this?
I have Kosowana lore, but that seems beyond the pale.
Sort of. I would allow Kosowana lore at a slightly higher DC. Because...
No, wait, JK, I have Brigh lore.
Oh, perfect. Let's do a Brigh lore.
Perf. That should have been secret. I'll close my eyes.
That's fine, yeah.
Question marks.
So looking over it, you do know that the clocks are a pretty big part of Brigh lore, and they passage of time, timekeeping clocks, they're all very sacred and big in that religion. The 13th ordinal position on this clock doesn't strike you as anything you're familiar with in the lore of Brigh. You immediately recognize that the crystal at the center of this device, as well as the 13 small crystals on the clock face, are definitely quartz, which is a very religious stone in their belief system. They kind of worship quartz.
Never will I ever understand the worship of... I'm going to try to pocket the thing.
The whole device? Yeah.
If it can like easily fit.
It's not like pocket size. It's like desktop clock size, but it's movable. You can put your hands on it. I think as you reach out to touch it, immediately as you make contact with it, you hear like it kind of springs to life, and the gears start like turning the sheet metal, and the little hammers start dinging on it. It starts chiming. It starts like, like a cuckoo clock that would go off. It starts making a lot of noise as you have.
I'm not familiar with the cuckoo clock. How does that go?
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Oh, that makes so much more sense.
Thank you.
Like a ticking bomb?
Someone else is not familiar with cuckoo clocks, apparently. Jeez.
There is this sort of like clock ticking noise now, kind of filling the kind of quiet here in the space, and there is a sound effect I've turned on for you now that you can hear that should be ringing.
I feel paranoid enough because it is loud. Probably, can I try to disable it?
Yeah.
What, Anita? It's fine. Why do they? What is the semblance of the 13th hour in the fate? Did they tell you?
No. Can I do a recall knowledge on what this device might be? What type of clock it is?
Please don't blow up in my face.
Yeah.
In front of Masu. Masu, run!
You can make a crafting check as well to recall knowledge about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So you spend a little bit of time. That was your role to disable it, right, Saruk?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you spend some time, and it takes you a minute or two, of which this sort of sound repeats itself multiple times within a minute. Like it does this pattern within a minute. But after a few moments of looking at it, you find like this sort of like on-off switch without too much issue, and you're able to disable it so it stops making noise. Anita, you're looking over this clock, and I think the thing that really catches you as an interesting note is most clocks, like clockwork devices, are powered by a sort of wind-up momentum. You turn the key, you wind it, it coils the spring. Slowly over time, it kind of the cogs twist, which advances the time a set amount, right? It's all very gear-driven, very mechanical. Looking at this clock, you realize that even though the face is moving and the time is continuing to tick like normal, there are no gears, no clockworks at all in the face. All of the wires and everything that's happening here is connected to this giant quartz crystal at its core. And it's somehow Kosowana has tapped into the quartz itself to create this clock. This is something you've never seen or even heard of before.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't think either you and I could really disable this one, Saruk.
Well, Saruk, as you say that, Saruk disables it. It's not making noise.
Pulls a wire out.
Oh, cool.
It is fascinating, though. It
It
feels
is.
almost magical. Surely not.
It's very smart for sure. Using the hammers, maybe grabbing the kinetic energy from the hammers, banging on the quartz.
Yeah, maybe. You think the church would want it?
I think so.
Yeah, all right.
I mean, it is by Kosowana.
I feel like they would say something like, and please forgive me if you've adopted the faith, Imperative 567, property of the church made by the I don't know, but yeah.
Hey, who knows? I still have the book. Is there anything on it that it's like, you know how sometimes people like engrave passages on the things that they like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you want to go for your sort of religious textbook?
Yeah, the logic of design.
So it's a thick half tech manual, half sort of religious text. So you're just skimming the whole thing at random, looking for anything marked on it. It looks like you were given like a fresh copy. It's a brand new copy. Nobody else has owned it before you.
Is there anything on the device that could like an engraving, like John 3:16?
Got it. So you're looking for something specific. You can. It's going to take some time to sit down with the book and read through it. You're not going to be able to like pick up the book and just find out of the 1,000 pages or the 500 pages that thing. But if you want to spend some time researching it, you absolutely could make the roll.
Maybe is it heavy? Is it big? The device?
It's. I would say in terms of bulk, it's probably like a 2 bulk device.
Okay. Oh wow! I had it in my head. I could just like pop on the.
No, it's a little bigger than that. It's like takes up most of his desk.
Fair enough. Well, I can't carry it then. 2 bulk encumbers me. Wybert. Actually, I'll probably just whoop, and then like. Are there compartments on Wybert where Wybert can store things? All right, here we go.
Yes.
Masu, don't look. Anita, we'll talk about this later. And
he's pretty adept at that there, Refcule. Wybert, I mean.
It's like a trunk.
Yeah, you mean Wybert. Nerd.
Because he's got a big ass.
Well, because he's a large creature, not a huge creature, but a large creature.
They have gotten quite thick.
So as a little bit more time has passed, as you guys are kind of going through this, like, Saruk and Anita are definitely like going through this device. A lot of times passes, you guys are sort of making heads or tails about what's going on here. But I haven't heard much from like Refcule and Halbrent, right? Are you guys doing anything? Are you guys just very diligently on watch looking for any sort of danger?
It's true. I'm boycotting a lot of time petting a cat. That's my bee. I'll pet the cat quietly.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm keeping my eyes out to make sure that nothing is
okay.
out of sorts.
Ruffy has not been keeping his eye out. He's been going around just poking things.
Okay. Yeah. What sort of stuff is Ruffy poking? I want to know. For no particular reason.
Let's see. I've gone over to the blast area. Checked that out a bit. I went up to each of these stairwells.
So I think one thing that definitely would have happened, Ruffy, you're going over and you're going to the blast area. You're like going around, you're poking stuff with the barrel of your gun, just looking for anything, right? It's been pretty much nothing's happening. But as you sort of get over kind of by the corner of this and you're kind of feeling through the sandbags, there is a sort of jostling noise and you see like some flashing lights and it looks like there is a little creature that's trying to hide, like a clockwork device that's hiding within the sandbags. And like as you poke it, it sort of like panics and it like activates. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll initiative for me?
Just Rafi?
I think definitely Rafi, definitely Hal. I think if it goes to the second round, I will have Anita and Saruk jump in on the second round of combat because you guys are kind of looking at the clock.
Do I get the scouting bonus
Damn
from
thing
Hal?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Natural 20. That's what you get for being on
Very
watch.
nice.
Yeah, my man.
And 20. So you guys both beat it in initiative. Ruffy pokes it. It kind of flitters out. Hal's like on watch for this. Hal, you're the first to react. What would you like to do? It's just like this little creature. It's tiny, right? It's enough to hide. It kind of crawls out. It looks like it has little wings so it can fly. It's got like a pulsing red sort of eye in the middle of it. And it begins like, it kind of shoots out and it begins hovering there in the ground, like right over the sandbags.
Is it a clockwork creature that is not Wybert?
Yes.
I will run over to it and whack it with my snagging strike.
Okay. Go ahead and make that attack roll.
Cha.
13 on the dice, 26 total. That is a hit.
I like the new sound effects when they hit.
I even accidentally hit Halbrand Beastwood.
Oh, you targeted yourself. Yeah. It's not a crit though. I was looking to see if it might have been a crit.
17.
Nice.
17 points
You're
of
very good at that
damage.
tonight.
It is a clockwork device, so it is resistant partial to this. That being said, you rush over in one quick motion, and you can see it looked like it was about to like fly up and maybe like fly out of the roof and get out of here. And you smash through it, and it like explodes in a sort of shower of sparks. It triggers its reaction to have, which is called self-destruct. And as it's reduced to 0 hit points, it thrashes around. There's like a small a tinny scream, a tick-tock tick, and it explodes in a 5-foot radius. I need Refugule and Halbrand to make reflex saving throws.
16.
That's a 30
Sheesh.
from Refugule.
Well, Ruffy takes 0 damage. Hal takes half damage. It's 1 damage in the explosion, so that's 0 for Hal. So you both take no damage. Ruffy's able to get behind the sort of things. It just it like builds this huge buildup. It's about to explode, and then it just goes beep, like this tiniest little puff ever. And this thing is destroyed, just completely gone.
Well, what was that, Refugule?
Not really sure.
What the fuck are you two?
We got it handled. Don't worry.
Apparently. Then like leans over to Anita.
Oh, this is so amazing.
They're going to be going over that little doohickey for God knows how long. So I got a bit bored and started poking around a bit.
Literally poking around.
Yeah, no, just got a bit of interesting stuff around here. So figured I'd check out this blast area, and then I was about to sit down on one of these sandbags over here, but as I was fluffing it up a bit, heard a bit of a noise, a bit of a rustle, and then that thing popped out. You rushed over and smashed it to bits.
You think it had like a big brother? Because it blew up right there, right? It blew up, but to make a mark like that, and he'll point over to the blast area, that thing had to be huge.
Maybe, or I'm not sure if maybe Kosowana had the formula for Pyronite, right? Isn't that why we're here?
I mean, it could be, but wouldn't it blown the hell out of the side of this building? I mean,
Not sure if that thing had Pyronite in it, but we might want to, what do you think it was doing? Hiding in...
spying on us. Actually, I don't know. It was probably asleep and you woke it up.
Right. I mean, I'm a bit cranky after a nap myself, so... Do we tell those two?
Tell us what? We're standing like 30 feet away from you.
We found that guy's little brother, and I point over at the busted up clockwork.
Yeah, no, I got that when I looked up when I heard the explosion and saw shattered clockwork remains scattering around.
Right. Al took care of it. Good to go.
Good.
Uh,
Try not to touch anything that'll bite back. Scritch is mossy.
Yeah, it's like sleeping next to the clock, and it does that little like thing where it like does the cat stretch as you wake it up from its nap. It looks happy.
He's telling us that. I'm pretty sure that's a bomb they just started.
Sounded like it, didn't it? Just clang, clang, ding dong, clang, clang.
I pick up the bits of scrap of the little tiny clockwork, and Annie might want to take a look, maybe.
Yeah, actually, with the self-destruct sequence, it completely decimated and left barely any trace of itself. There are little shards of stuff, but it's hard to get a good look at what was left. I mean, it was programmed to leave no trace behind, kind of.
All right. In that case, I'll look if there's anything useful. If there's nothing, then I'm right. Back to poking.
And as Ruffy goes back to poking, I think we're gonna poke our way towards our break for the night. Like that transition, right?
Smooth, super smooth.
Smooth.
Actually, I think it could have been. I can't do the voice as good as Richard. I'm not going to ruin it.
But while we're here at break, take this time to support us here at Recall Knowledge. Head on over to twitch.tv/Recall Knowledge to give us a follow. We humbly accept your subscriptions. If you got Amazon Prime subs, regular subs, send them our way. You can support the show at no cost to you. Also, subscribe on youtube.com/recallknowledge. It's a great place to catch up on all our past shows, watch our future shows, subscribe there. Follow us, look for us on YouTube Shorts. We uploaded a YouTube Short today.
Ooh.
Fun little clip from some highlights from our show. And check out Recall Knowledge on Patreon at patreon.com/Recall Knowledge, where you can get early releases of our episodes, behind the scenes looks, and access to Bastion well before it goes onto YouTube.
Ooh.
We're going to be back in about 10 minutes with some more Outlaws of Alkenstar. Don't go anywhere, and we're hoping not to have any more tech issues in the second half of the show.
Back in 10 minutes with more cute kitties of Alkenstar. I'm abandoning my character concept. I'm playing a familiar master.
We're a cat simulator now, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
We'll be back. And we are back with more Cradle of Quartz. Our camera sort of fades in as we find our group of outlaws ransacking Kosowana's workshop. You see Anita and Saruk literally taking all this stuff that Kosowana has here and just shoving it into a butt compartment on Wybert, right? The butt flaps open, just clockwork gears, strange powders.
Wow, Anita, you really can fit so much junk
in his trunk.
In this new trunk that you made.
Full set of clockwork construct artisan's gear, a weird sort of crystal. But the one thing too, after you sort of get a lot of that loaded, Saruk, you sort of notice in the sort of space that was kind of half hidden by a lot of this stuff, you kind of look and you see an old beat up dusty copy of the Logic of Design sort of sitting here in Kosowana's desktop space, Anita, as you're learning stuff, you look over, you see Saruk pick it up. It's very clearly, a book similar to the one you got, Anita, with the Temple of Brigh.
But it's the older version.
The desktop.
It just looks worn in and used. It looks like Kosowana's personal copy.
Goes in the trunk.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
We can take it back to the church. Maybe they'll have a use for it. Regulation 54 something about recycling and repurposing. I don't fucking...
Maybe he wrote the recipe for pyronite in there.
Removes from trunk.
Okay, yeah, you open it. There is actually, he has there is a big sort of ribbon, it's a ribbon, sort of a flexible copper ribbon bookmark. And so it opens to a page right in the middle. And you can see it's just a random spot kind of towards the front of the book. But you open it and you're kind of looking at the two pages. And unfortunately, whatever page was marked does not appear to have a copy of pyronite on it, and as you look, you see very little annotation in this book. There's very little handwritten stuff that he's provided. It all looks like it's been sort of machine printed onto the page, and he's kind of kept it in fairly pristine condition.
What page is marked? Is it anything specific?
So you look, right, and looking on the left page, it's marked 2.2.6. And then on the right page, it's marked 2.2.8. Both of them seem to deal with, they both have to do with locations. Let me see. So the section 2 is listed in a big header on the top. It says the Apprenticeship of Bronze. And then section 2.2 is listed as Holy Places. And then section 2.2.6 is talking about a holy place, and it's talking about some workshop within the Temple of Brigh itself. And on the right hand side is talking about section 2.2.8. It's talking about basically private workshops that the higher cogs have access to, because they need access to higher tier materials to get them closer to the clockwork mother herself. So just looking at the two, it doesn't appear that there is anything too interesting about the two.
Do I have a 2.2.7 on my copy?
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to flip forward a couple, back a couple to see.
Got it. Yeah. No. As you flip back and through, you do see even numbers and odd numbers mixed between the books, and every so often there are pages that appear to be missing. And you are kind of right. You look at it and you focus 2.2.7 appears to be missing from this book, right? The book that it's marked, theoretically, there would be a 2.2.7, but the way it's printed, right? You look at the left page being 2.2.6, the right page being 2.2.8. It doesn't look like anyone just ripped a page out of this book, but 2.2.7 is completely omitted from Kosowana's copy. So, Anita, you said you want to check your copy? Yeah, you get your copy out, you flip to it. You got like a brand new copy. The pages are still nice and sort of stiff. Your copy mirrors Kosowana's. There is no 2.2.7 in your book at all. It goes straight from 2.2.6 to 2.2.8.
A missing verse.
What does 227 say?
Nothing. It's not in my copy as well.
Huh. Maybe we ought to ask folks at the church.
Missing passage. Right. Should we move forward?
Looks up to where the boys are. What encounter they've triggered and murdered.
Ruffy, kind of like a cat, is just slowly pushing something off the desk. And as Saruk looks up, I just stare him right in the eye and just push it off the desk.
Why are you like gods? Damn it. I hope that doesn't okay, it didn't explode.
Over on the other side of the room, like Masu's doing like a very similar thing with like a spool of like copper wire in a ball of yarn, just like batting it right off the edge of the table, like onto the floor. And then Masu sort of does like a little stretch thing, kind of like looks around, like looks up a little bit, and then he kind of like jumps off the table with a little jingle of his bell, and he sort of like goes back and he kind of hops up the ladder back towards the rafters, and you watch as he disappears into the little like loft area, like little like crawl space above all the rooms. And Masu has, for now at least, disappeared.
Maybe that's somebody's bedroom, besides the cat's bedroom, of course.
You want to go take a look?
I want to go near the cat.
Okay, then I will go by myself, and you can stay out here.
Oh, he said he was going to bite me.
He's not gonna... Scowls, smiles, walks to door, perceptions the door.
So there are 3 doors here, right? The 3 doors lead towards, if you're thinking about the layout, right, these rooms kind of face the front of the building. You guys came in the back for the loading dock, but these 3 rooms are 3 distinct rooms with doors, they're closed and everything, leading towards the street end. And then in addition to that, there is this sort of ladder that goes straight up into this crawl space. And that's where Masu kind of is. It kind of leads up to where the rafters are. And from the looks of down here, it looks like there's just a bunch of junk kind of piled in this small little crawl space.
That makes sense. My brain doesn't want to tell me this thing is a ladder. All right, I'm going to climb up after him. Hop. Wait, I can't. This intersects a wall.
Yeah, so you go ahead, kind of like climb up into what appears to be like a storage loft, and just a few rungs up, you're already able to kind of see into it. It looks like there's a 5-foot tall gap here, so like Saruk would definitely have to be like crawling to kind of climb into here, but it's crammed around the edges with tools and dusty boxes with like old alchemical reagents, clockwork parts. The main thing is it's just a tiny little space, but what you don't see is Masu. He definitely went up here, but he's not there anymore.
The process of elimination. You know what? I think I will make Masu a lead. They seem to know a lot of things. I'm going to look around and see if maybe there's someplace a cat could fit, but an orc dare not.
Absolutely. What you notice here is, although the space is definitely crammed tight, it looks as if there's really nowhere to go. It just looks like maybe a 5-foot square room, but there's definitely spaces where a smaller creature could sort of crawl through, and you started getting to that mentality of what would a cat do? What would a cat like? And you realize now that somebody has piled all this stuff here to make this space look smaller than it actually is. This isn't a wall. It's just a sort of makeshift partition set up by a bunch of junk. And you could easily move some of this stuff. And this loft in this crawl space is probably a lot bigger than it looks.
Huh. All right, I'm feeling a little isolated up here. Y'all want to come join me? And then I start moving boxes. I'm not just saying that because I need help with the manual labor. I'm just trying to not be caught up here alone.
Is that cat up there?
No, they took off. I'm guessing there's a hole or something somewhere.
Make room.
It's a tight, like it's 5 foot tall, so you guys are basically like either on hands and knees or sort of stooped over. So I have Saruk and Hal going up there. What about Ruffy and Anita? Are you guys staying down?
I think Wybert can get up there, Annie.
And he's lost her voice again.
Annie, can't hear you.
She's busy.
Sorry, new gears. Now we'll come in last. Or why? But we'll be in the rear.
Oh ho ho. Oh, this is tight quarters. Good lord.
A secret bonus?
I'll just scoot over to make room for Reffy, I guess.
I can't say.
Don't worry about it. Oh, jeez. This room's gonna get
Whoa.
really fucking tight.
Oh, how is Wybert gonna fit here?
Yeah, I mean,
They're not.
Wybert takes up this whole space. Or like, there's not even space for Wybert. So Wybert's like at the bottom waiting to crawl up. But Saruk, you're able to easily start to like move stuff around. And you're able to sort of open a thing and shift the boxes to the side, and you see a much bigger space than you guys previously realized it was here. It looks like maybe this loft space sort of stretches the entire distance of the workshop. And as you're looking across it, you see what appears to be almost like a makeshift bedroom with like a tiny bed, a bunch of dressers and boxes scattered around, a little lantern flickering it, and a weird sort of vent that looks like a sort of metal vent that opens from here straight to the outside world. And over on the other side of the room, sort of on the bed with Masu sort of like in his lap, is a small child who's up here in this crawl space, sort of petting Masu. Masu looks happy. He's got a little bit of food he's feeding to Masu. And sort of as you guys move all the stuff, he looks up. You guys see the panic in his eyes looking at you. He immediately looks from you towards this vent, and you can tell he's about to like make a run for the vent.
I know he's probably not frightened, but this seems like just the thing to fire every time forever. In Mwangi. It's all right. We don't mean you any harm.
All right, make a diplomacy check.
Alrighty. I don't know if this is... I'll put the +1 on it. I'll leave it up to you if this is pursuant to a lead.
25, nice.
Dancing around that natural 20 all night.
Yep, not quite hitting it, but pretty close. So he starts to make a break. What do you say to him? I mean, it's going to be a success. It's actually going to be a critical success.
Literally what I said. Stop. We mean you no harm. It's okay.
Yeah, you can tell like in his eyes, he looks a little bit of fearful, and he starts making a few steps towards it, like he's going to run. You try to like talk him down. You see his reaction is that Masu is like friendly with you, and Masu's in his mind, Masu's usually scared of everyone. But when Masu doesn't immediately run away from you, and in fact Masu kind of goes over towards you in a friendly way, he sort of stops mid-stride halfway, like out of the vent. And it stops what he's doing and kind of looks back and cocks his head at you a little bit. And he says, You're not with them, are you?
I don't know exactly who you mean, but probably not. My name is Saruk. I'm a friend. And these are my friends. Anita, Reficule, Halbrand. Can we come in? This is... Can I stand up, like all the way stand
It's
up?
5 foot tall, so no.
Can I please move?
Yeah, you can go ahead and crawl in. He's like, oh yeah, come in, and he pushes some of the stuff so you can crawl in. Even when you crawl in, it's still this little crawl space. It's still only 5 foot tall at its tallest. There's no way for you guys to sort of stand in here comfortably. He, as a child, can kind of get away with it, but even for him, it's pushing it a little bit. Like, God, there's been a lot of bad stuff going on around here. My name is Jonia.
I extend my hand to shake
He
theirs.
very tepidly takes your hand and shakes it. You can tell, like, he's a little still fearful and mistrustful, but for some reason, against his better judgment, he's, you've given him no cause for alarm. He feels at ease in the situation. He's like, what are you doing here anyways?
When I take their hand, I'll tap the Majogwin badge that Saruk wears. This symbol means I'm not going to hurt you. I like your hair, by the way. I'm tangenting. We're here looking for Kosowana, not to cause them harm, mind you, unless they intend us harm. Do you know them?
I wouldn't say I know the fella. He seems nice enough. I've been living up here in his attic for about a year now. It seemed like a safe place to crash. Watched over him, a bit eccentric, but never met him face to face or anything.
I was going to ask if he knew you were here. I will take that as a no.
Oh, Masu, that's Oloman's cat.
I see.
He's my friend. When I go out and get food, I usually save a little bit for him every day.
We reward the hunters. The hunters will help us hunt.
Right. Kosowana doesn't do much in terms of his pet. I mean, he loves the guy, but he's usually so busy in his work, especially these last few weeks.
Yeah, that tracks.
Keeping an eye on him but he hasn't seen you.
I don't think he knows I'm here. I don't think he'd take too kindly to poor urchin like myself hiding out in his attic, poking through his stuff.
Okay, so you're not keeping an eye on him for somebody else.
Oh, no, sorry. It's kind of my entertainment, seeing what he gets up to. I don't know that I would call him a genius, but he's always persistent, and when he's working on something, his head is in it. I could be looking over from this loft and he wouldn't even know I was here, but I try to keep a low profile.
Were you here the other night when he flew the coop?
A literal choice of words.
And he nods. You're not going to get me in trouble or tell him, are you?
No, matter of fact, we can probably help you.
Well, I mean, Kosowana was always the kind of curious that I feel like apt to get you in trouble. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, those fellas last night, they came looking for him. They had three humans with shiny guns made of gold, wearing yellow and black.
Oh yes, the yellow jackets.
Yeah, the bumblebees.
That, right.
What? No, you idiots, the Gilded Gunners.
Oh.
No, my friend said they're called the bumblebees, and he was a criminal.
They're definitely the bumblebees.
Oh, I've heard tales of the Gilded Gunners. I don't know about these bumblebees, but maybe they're bumblebees. I don't know. The Yellow Jackets. That's a pretty cool name. But if the Gilded Gunners or the Yellow Jackets are after this Kosowana, then
bumblebees.
Bumblebees. He gets all like quiet and like looks down. If they're after him, didn't look good. I don't know who their boss was though.
Halfling fella.
Do you have any idea? He turns back to Reffy.
Was it halfling fella?
Nods. Dressed in fancy clothes, smoking a cigar.
A porn stash.
A little bit, yeah, come to think of it.
Hmm.
Wait, what's porn?
It's
So begins the corruption.
Riffy, this is a child.
What? That's what Mugland told me.
Well, are you happy with how Mugland treated you?
Do you know where Kosowana is now, or where maybe they might have gone?
I mean, I was up here, relaxing as I usually do. I was sleeping. Wasn't going through the stuff. I wasn't stealing anything. Don't get any ideas in your mind.
I'm not going to judge you even if
I heard some loud explosions and bangs coming from somewhere near the front door. When I just thought he was up to more of his experiments. He's been blasting stuff for weeks. But when I poked my head out to see, Kosowana was being a little strange. He was going around his workshop. He has so many of these clocks. Do you guys know why he's so obsessed with clocks? Weird.
something about his faith, I think.
You're the kid living in the man's attic. You tell us.
I mean, I don't know, but I do know that as the explosions were going on in the other room, he had stopped to take time to wind some of these clocks around his workshop. Like, who does that in the middle of a break-in? It's weird, right?
It is. Can I maybe like recall knowledge something to get context for the why?
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and make a lore check that you can, or maybe even like a Brigh lore or some kind of lore of some way.
I was gonna say crafting, but I will take the Brigh lore 100%.
Well, that's happening. Not right now, but later on. This whole conversation, Refi's trying to get a beat on this kid. Is he trustworthy? Does he have to kill him?
Yeah, make a sense.
I swear to each and every
Make a
god.
sense motive check for Refi. So Rook, as you're listening to the description, nothing comes to mind. I mean, it seems weird that if somebody was breaking into your house, that you would take the time to go around and wind clocks. You get the feeling like maybe what the boy saw isn't exactly what was happening. Like maybe he wasn't winding the clocks. Maybe he was hiding something in the clocks or retrieving something from the clocks. It might have looked like he was winding them to somebody watching in like a panic heightened state. But there's no logical sense that somebody would stop and wind clocks right in the middle of a break-in. Reficule, looking at the kid, he seems not mistrustworthy, but you can tell that this kid is very scared and he's been living. If what he's telling you is true and you're not 100% convinced he's telling the full truth, but he is for sure unarmed and doesn't seem particularly dangerous per se. He just looks like he's scared and he's kind of doing anything to save his own skin, but not necessarily in a way to double cross you, but he'll do and say anything you want to get you to like leave him alone and go away. Right.
Wow, Refi, doesn't this sound so relatable?
So Anita, you want to take a minute to go and look at the clocks?
Yeah, and cross-reference them with each other. Like, is there a pattern in it?
Sure, yeah. He points to some of the clocks, and you take a minute to kind of go down and look at the clocks as he's saying. Give me a perception check.
Perception.
So Jonia is kind of saying like the craziest thing. They didn't get Kosowana. He had this weird statue. It was some sort of. I always thought it was just a statue, but when he climbed aboard it and turned a key and it came to life, it was like this big clockwork machine, like a little bit bigger than that fella right there. And he kind of points at Wybert, like the large guy standing there. He's like, it had like the body of a panther and the wings of an eagle and a weird, vaguely humanoid face. It was in those bays over there for a long time. And Kosowana just flew it right out the door. Strangest thing. They chased after him, fired guns. Then I retreated in here and waited for them to pass. They were here, tossing the place, probably close to an hour before they left. I heard him fiddling downstairs and he points underneath him where he's like right over some of the rooms below you. They were fiddling in there for a while, and then they left. They haven't been back. I thought maybe you were them.
No, quite the opposite.
Anita and Hal, as you guys are sort of like looking at the clocks, it becomes pretty apparent. It's weird because he said they winded them up, right? None of these clocks are working, Nina. They're all currently turned off. They're unwound. None of them are ticking. The time is not moving at all. But there is a pattern. You said you were looking for a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of these clocks are set to the time 2:27.
Ah, the missing passage.
So while that's going on, so there's obviously no pressure, but unless you're enjoying living in someone's loft where apparently did you say Gunners Guild?
Gilded Gunners.
He stops, he looks at Refi.
I hear bees in my head too, don't them, yes.
Golden gun.
We have some friends on the other side of town. It's not the best place in the world, but it's safer than here. There's food. There's a bed that isn't. Is that just like a cot that they've dragged in?
Pretty much, it's like a pretty haphazard thrown together cot. That's small even for this child.
It's not great, but it would be more comfortable than here. What do you think?
I mean, the food is nice, though I kind of like having my freedom. You're not one of them cults, are you?
No. Far
I
from.
stare at him with my red
You'll
eye.
still have your freedom. Refi, don't mind him. He's working on some stuff. It's not a cult. It's the Bullet and Barrel. Are you familiar?
Shakes his head.
It's a saloon on the other side of town. I can't picture the world map in my
Why don't you
head.
make a request to this kid? Probably a diplomacy check.
Ready.
You're requesting him to leave his sort of loft, his lifestyle, and come stay with you guys at the Barrel and Bullet. And we'll see.
You thought you were going to be adopting a cat? Nope, I guess the second
Child.
arc of Saruk is to fucking adopt a kid.
Cat can come adopt the cat too.
Hucha! Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see.
So he stops and he thinks and he says, doesn't sound half bad, but I'll come on 2 conditions. 1,
Sure.
we get to
name
keep
him.
Masu.
Absolutely.
2, you can get me a job at this place. I need a job.
Yeah, of course. I can definitely talk
Something
to
where
the
I
owner.
won't lose my hands in a factory accident.
I'm just gonna press a button on the character sheet that indicates that somehow Saruk can keep a straight face through that.
We
Yeah,
can guarantee that.
I imagine it'll be washing
Great.
dishes.
I've been applying for factory gigs all over town, but these goddamn clockworks are taking all the jobs. Not a
You
single
never said
opening.
anything about your legs, though, so we can't guarantee them.
Refik, he's kidding.
The kid immediately goes back into shutdown and just silently stares at his feet.
I promise. If he tries to,
Yeah, I'll come. Let me just get my stuff together. And he sort of won't make eye contact with the Refi, and he's kind of going around and just packing the few belongings he has into a sort of backpack he has.
So were they more focused on Oloman's workshop, not necessarily anything that's in the front? You said there was an explosion in the front.
Well, the gunfire started in the front,
Mhm.
continued. They ransacked the place. They tore it apart. He's got a lot of stuff. He's a bit of an eccentric shut-in, but
Right.
it's not usually this much in disarray. Those guys were.
Mm.
I don't know. The small one kept barking, "Find it! Find it!" I don't know. They must have found it because they left.
Does he have any private quarters, or does he just sleep in his workshop?
Usually he sleeps at his desk. He doesn't even have a bedroom, unless he might have a house, but he's almost never out of this place. I don't know if
Right, this is the workshop.
has-
right.
maybe he has a house, but I don't know. I've over the last year, I'd say he's about half in, half out, but he hasn't left the place for 3 weeks, working day and
Mhm.
night.
Right, I see.
I think I know the type. Smiles over at Anita.
I must say, you are the coolest clockwork machine I've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
Me?
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's the Clockwork Cowboy. Don't you know?
Yeehaw.
Haven't you heard? Cleaning up the streets of Alkenstar for people just like you and me, on the back of their noble steed Wybert.
the kid.
Ooh.
He's got his backpack done. He picks up Masu and he's like, let's go find our new home, buddy.
Well, do you want to see something cool though? So before, I'm not trying to scare you, but before I used to have tattoos, but I burned a lot of the layers on my skin. So what the Temple of Brigh did was, and then I opened a latch on my arm, is that they replaced it with all these cogs. Look at it. So it's pretty much my circulation system right now. Cool.
Oh, that is actually
And I close it.
gross and cool at the same time.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Wonders of modern technology.
What happened
Yes.
here on your head?
Which one? Right here?
Yeah, you got a giant plate across your head?
I do. I was punched by a clockwork and then they tried to squeeze me to death. They succeeded, actually. But now I can see in the dark, whereas before I couldn't. I had to invent something just so that I could see, but now I could. Isn't that cool?
Does that mean, are you here to steal his secrets too?
Who? Oh, or Swanas?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say steal. I'll just say I'll take it now and then I'll inform him later that I have his blueprints for safety.
He taps his nose and gives you like a wink, like, I got you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Don't, Anita. I'm not gonna presume to adopt it. Don't listen to them. They're. Would you like to ride the Clockwork Cowboy's steed? You would, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
Quickly deflecting to a
Oh, that would be so cool. This is, I mean, all due respect, this is not quite as cool as the old geezers, but still not bad.
Yeah, so on that note, when they said they were describing people face, lion body, wings, is that enough to could a Hucker recall knowledge? One word at
Check out
that particular thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know. Is it crafting? Do you want crafting for this?
Could be crafting, could be nature, could be arcana. I mean, it sounds it sounds like he's describing something that it's just a weird hodgepodge of, creatures.
Question marks.
Right, question marks. It's a weird mix of things, and as you sort of rack your brain, it doesn't come across as anything you recognize.
Chimeric creatures, am I right? All right, boys, is there anything else down here? Are we ready to go?
Yeah, I feel that we got to the heart of the workshop really quickly by going through the back.
Yeah. Why don't you... Anita, would you be so kind as to ask the Clockwork Steed to take our new friend back up on the platform over there while we check this room?
Of course.
Just to make sure,
And then I put the kid... I command Wyber to, bend down a little bit so that the kid could just walk on him, saddle, and then I tell the kid that the magic word is vroom vroom. And then Wybert walks 10 feet.
Hands up like vroom vroom, and then Wybert walks 10 feet. Yeah. So you can go ahead and move him over towards a safety, and Masu here will be with him.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking hard out of character behind the scenes. When we were talking about our characters a long time ago, Nina definitely called Saruk Daddy Saruk at one point in regards to character tropes, and we have fucking manifested that.
You spoke it into the world, and it's come back around.
I don't hate it. This is
Dad. Alright.
Hey there, have you heard about my new son? I guess I'll walk up to the door, and once the team files in, I'm gonna make sure it's not gonna blow up when
Give
I
me a
try to
perception
open
check.
it.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to the door in the back. It looks like it's not locked, not trapped. You can tell that it's been kicked in, but also haphazardly repaired.
So shield up, push.
Yep. So you open the door, right? And it looks like a sort of an alchemical storage room. It's like ruined. It's been tossed over. Things are all over the ground, splashed, broken. The harsh chemical and ash sort of wafts out of the room and hits all of you right on the nose. The floor is covered in broken alchemical glassware of any kind you could even think of. And all of the chemicals have sort of pooled together in the middle of the room and sort of made this sort of weird, multi-hued alchemical puddle with, metal shelves, torn books, scattered note paper everywhere in this room. And you do notice, right in the center of the room, it's hard to see at first, right? Because it's small, a bunch of tiny creatures that are no more than the size of your fist, but they're sitting here bathing in this weird alchemical liquid, and you notice sparks sort of shooting out of each one, and they're kind of it's this weird contraption of clockworks that look to have been affected by these chemicals at some time and possibly malfunctioning. And as you open the door, they all sort of turn, and you see what appears to be a few dozen eyes all sort of turn and notice you. And it's this weird swarm of tiny clockwork piranha looking things that sort of look at you and then immediately like spring into their programming and begin like activating and running in your direction. Everyone, please go ahead and roll me initiative.
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
Another storm. I was gonna say, like the last time we had a shiny puddle, a rust ooze came out.
That is true.
Yeah, shiny puddles are spooky. I'm just gonna put my scouting mod in really quickly. Praise be
18
to
for my
Albert
thing.
Beastwood.
Sorry, I forgot the scout. 18.
Not bad. 23 for Reticule.
Not bad at all.
Nice.
Well, as it seems to be the norm around here, Halbrent is in the lead. Also, that +2 scouting bonus came in clutch to get you ahead of these things. But Hal, you are up first.
I think.
So I think I'm gonna turn to Helm. Shut the door,
mm,
please.
Yeah, that's true. I'll step forward. I'll close the door. Can I move Saruk away from the door?
I will not resist.
You're talking about doing like you're like shoving Saruk, sorta?
Just to move him out of the way so I can like take place with him.
Yeah, I'll allow it. That's fine. You sort of like, mechanically what we're doing is you're kind of spending 3 actions to sort of push Saruk back and like slam the door closed and take position right on it. I'll allow it, yeah.
Or right next to it. Just move him between me and Anita.
I missed the wasps. Those I understood.
That is my turn.
Over on this side, you're like you've closed the door shut. You're not like you didn't have enough actions to like brace the door and hold it closed or anything, but you have closed it and you're kind of mechanically holding it closed. You feel the weight of them on the other side as they're like throwing their like swarm like bodies against you. You just hear this chop 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 chop. The metal jaws like clamping down like a crazy swarm full of piranhas. They're going to attempt to basically break the door down.
Guys, I think Steve's tired of our lock of swarms in the room bullshit.
So first action is a failure. Second one, they have the minus penalty. Nope, not even close. So you've closed the door. They're slamming against it. You can feel the door sort of splintering. It's holding for now, but they seem to be like fairly persistent. But that's their whole turn. They aren't able to do anything on their turns. So, Refi.
All right. I will draw my pistol as a free action, and I will hold a shot until I see something coming out and threatening.
Perfect. Just holding that shot, lining it up, waiting for a shot.
I guess I could stride maybe to get a better shot, huh? Because I'd be shooting over my friends right now.
Right.
Wait, you think I'm your friend?
Truth comes out finally.
Right.
We did it. It only took us like 6 fucking months.
All right. Saruk.
Out of character. I was super fucking hoping they wouldn't go through the door. We'd wait till
Take a quick pause and go to chat and say thank you, I Watch Twitch, for giving the GM a hero point.
I watch Twitch, you coward.
All right. So,
Thank you for supporting
who's
Ricardo.
dying this time now?
I know that.
We're gonna find out.
I guess we fucking are. So out of character, I was super hoping we could wait these guys wind up out, then we could adopt them and have another swarm to fuck up enemies with, but I guess not. So instead, because I definitely didn't have my gun out while talking to a child, for one action, I'm gonna interact to draw something that I apparently already have drawn. Whack. Draw a moderate bottled lightning, and then ready in action to, when the door comes open, to introduce the piranha swarm to it.
Anita.
Same exact action sequence as Saruk. Mm-hmm.
Can I use my reaction to fist bump Anita?
I mean, I won't charge your reaction. You're gonna need it to throw the bottle, but I'll allow you to fist bump. You both draw and
Great
fist bump.
minds.
Yeah.
Right. How?
I'm gonna look to the group and be like, do you want me to like brace it or keep it closed or open it or go in there? Or what do you want? What do you want me to do?
I think it may be better for you to get out of the way. I have another bottle of lightning on me if you want it.
I think Hal is going to move here and then hold a strike for 2 actions if it comes within my range.
Perfect. Well, the first action on their turn is to bang the door, and boom, 1 action. They like athletics hit the door, and they kind of half spill out, and there's like a bunch of them that hit the doorway. All of you guys are like readying actions to go at this moment. So let's go ahead and take those gunshots and moderate lightning chucks. They're not quite in your reach yet, Hal. So you're still waiting for a strike.
Is there a particular order you want those in, or should we just vomit them?
I don't. If you guys want to choose an order, whoever goes. Yeah.
Vomit strike.
Vomit swarm is a spell into you.
Rah!
This is not devised.
All right.
I would like. Oh no, I hit.
Sirk's gonna use a hero point.
Refi hits, Anita and Saruk both miss. We're using a hero
I'm gonna
point.
use a hero point as well for my.
All right,
19.
Saruk's hero
Yeah.
point still misses.
Oh, they'll take the splash anyway.
Yeah, it's not a critical miss. So both your bottle of lightnings miss, but it does deal the splash damage. I think it was. Is it 2 splash damage? You can roll the damage on your thing just to show it. It was 2 splash damage. They are. So the splash damage, it is weak to splash. So even though you dealt 2 splash damage, it's weak 8.
Sheesh.
It actually takes 10 damage from each of your splashes.
Nice.
We'll love to see it.
And then Refi hits with the dueling pistol, dealing 9 points of piercing damage.
9?
It is resistant 8 to the piercing because it's sort of the swarm. So it takes 1 point of damage. So the way it is, right? It's not just one monolithic creature. It's a swarm of a bunch of these. So you probably pick one of them off, but it's not enough to really dent the thing. But the sort of splash damage going out is dealing quite a bit of damage, and they're getting hurt by all of that. So that was 1 action for them to do that. Your second action is going to be to spill out of the door and kind of create this sort of large cloud, and they kind of swarm around like all 3 of you guys right in front of the door, and they're big enough that they're covering all of you. They're kind of jumping up and biting at your ankles and jumping up and biting at your chest. And it's for its last action is going to use snapping jaws. So what I need is for everyone to make a reflex save.
Can we get a ready action from?
Yes, absolutely. Good call. So as they move in on their stride action, this does trigger a strike from Halbrand.
Rip.
And this round, like last combat.
H is for hero.
I think I'm gonna use a hero point.
All right, hero point it.
Slay them.
That's a hit.
Oh, nice.
11.
11 points of slashing damage. So they are resistant 8 to the slashing. So they take 3 points of damage from Hal. Okay, so that's a failure for Anita and a
16 for me.
failure for Saruk. Checking the DC of this. Yeah, not a critical failure at least. And Hal also fails with an 18. So you're all going to take full damage from this, which is 19 points of slashing damage.
Woof.
Woo.
As well, you're all sickened 1 as these things are biting into you. Just the act of them like jumping and hanging off you, and you got all these creatures on you. You guys are all like kind of weighed down by them. It's being reflected as the sickened condition from the numerous painful wounds affecting you. That's their turn. Refi.
How y'all doing in there? Should I
I think you put stunned.
Yeah, I did. I clicked the wrong thing.
Yes.
should I
Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say, what's that?
I look
cool
towards my bandolier at the bottle of lightning on my chest and say, how do y'all feel about a bit of lightning?
I don't know. Annie, you okay?
Do it!
You heard it here first. Pulls Piranha off, throws to ground.
I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Does that count? No, I still have to draw that, right?
You have to draw it, yeah.
Yeah, so 1 action draw.
Huh?
Second action, I will Oh, it's already drawn on my thing. I will strike.
All right, you throw it at the big, tangled mess of creatures.
Gotcha.
At the last second, Saruk realizes how conducted his armor
I'm going
is.
to use a hero point.
Yeah.
Hero point
Yeah,
it.
you are.
Let's get a higher roll. Come on. I believe.
I remember that time we were good at Pathfinder.
Right, it was
Is
the first
now?
half of this episode.
Oh,
Fucking now,
All
nope.
right. Well, it's still a
Jeez.
miss, but it's not a critical miss. So same thing. Everyone takes 2 points of electricity damage. However, this thing is weak 8 to electricity, so it takes 10 points of damage from your bomb, and everyone else just takes 2. Technically, you take it too, Ruffy, because you're within the splash range of this large creature,
that's fine.
which is a little strange, but
That was 2 actions. Third action. I'm going to use a running reload.
okay.
Ooh.
Another new
I
feature from
stride
Ruffy.
over, and I reload the gun at the same time.
Perfect. Gun is reloaded. That takes us to Saruk.
Okay, Saruk is gonna interact to draw a lesser bottled lightning.
Okay.
Saruk is the exemplar of the term. Don't hold on to your consumables you got from the other book. Use them. They're very useful. And then action the second is I'm gonna drop it at my feet.
Okay.
I'm really well. Yeah, it would still be the right move. Naked without my devise a strat. I didn't
That's
target.
fine.
I'm horrible. Does this
It's
19
a
hit?
hit, even through the sickened condition.
Nice.
So
So,
it takes. This is the lesser one.
yeah.
Okay. So it takes the 6 damage, and then it takes an extra 8. So plus 8 makes it a total of 14 points of damage. Plus,
And then it takes 1 point.
yeah,
of
and then
splash,
everyone
then
takes
it's
1
flat-footed.
point of splash damage, and this thing is. Oops, I didn't mean to put 14. That's right. And then it looks like most of them are like with this blast, like pulse of electricity kind of going through. It looks like most of them are almost gone. There's just a few stragglers left biting and grabbing everyone. Everyone takes 1 point of damage from that thing, and then that is basically everything on that bomb. It's flat-footed now too, thanks to the bomb effect.
I could be totally wrong, but I think the target of an alchemical bomb also takes the splash damage. I don't know if that procs the resistance twice or not.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I thought I did the -1 on it. Didn't show it in chat though.
They took the damage, they healed the damage, they
Took the damage, they healed the damage, they took the damage, but the one didn't do it. Let me try this. Yeah, I guess it didn't do it. I thought I put the -1. No, yeah, so I think with that and probably even triggering, it has weakness to electricity and splash, so I think maybe since it does the splash, the second one, I'll just give it the bonus. So this last bomb goes out, all of these creatures fall over and sort of are done and destroyed, and you guys are no longer in danger of these creatures biting at you. Congratulations on using your bottled lightning consumables to good effect against swarms.
Nice.
Made it
We're
a lot easier
learning,
for you
guys.
Like I immediately, we are. I turned, just snapped to Anita. You're fine, right? Right? Okay, cool. Jonia, just look up to Jonia. How are they doing?
He looks fine. He's kind of watching you guys like quizzically. His eyes are wide, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, Kosowana made those things. They're supposed to keep vermin out of this place because Masu doesn't do it." And Masu's like in his arms, like sleeping. You know, yeah, they're not supposed to attack people though. They're programmed only to target vermin or something. They've never bothered me. You look, they were like sparking, and it seems like maybe the chemicals that were in there might have malfunctioned them in some way to not distinguish humans from rats. Oh no, he looks like enthralled at all the coolness that's going on. This is the most exciting thing that's happened to him in a long time. He doesn't look scared. He actually looks happy and thrilled. And you can watch him like as you guys are done with this, he's like over in the corner. You see him like practicing the moves that he saw like Refugil doing, like trying to do like a running reload, although he doesn't have a gun, but he's trying to do it, you know? He's trying to emulate how cool you guys are.
Oh, look at that. You're being a good influence on someone, Refi. If you could just not talk about sawing off people's legs.
But you've gained access to what looks like an alchemical room full of gear and stuff, I'll go ahead and reveal that sort of token. You do find most of the stuff in here has been ransacked and broken. There is sort of a bottled lightning, a moderate bottled lightning you can refill to your guys' stocks here. There is enough to cobble together a functional alchemist lab, another one, an expanded alchemical lab. And then another thing that's in here is a small liquid that, to the look, you guys don't recognize.
Hey, Nita, come here. When they step in, I hold up the liquid.
What is it?
What do you make of this? I was
Let me
hoping
see.
you would tell me.
Recall knowledge using crafting, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
With
Now,
my
Chloe!
IP. Chloe. Hang on.
I presume we're not sickened anymore.
You can remove the sickened condition now. Like, after you get all the creatures off you, no more sickened condition.
Oh, blind.
I mean, I was worried about you guys in that swarm, but you guys did do a good job at the lightning. Oh, yeah. No problem.
Worried us now. We're the friends.
So you look at this, Anita, and you immediately recognize it as being a universal solvent, which is a pretty good, solvent that you can use to remove anything. Specifically, sovereign glue. It can counteract like that glue, that like some of the strongest glue that you guys could have. But additionally, it can help with any sort of like counteracting any other sort of adhesives, even tangle fit bags and stuff like that. It's a pretty useful and valuable solvent.
You know how expensive these types of things are. It's a universal solvent.
How expensive is it?
Yeah.
Interesting. As you're saying that, Saruk is breaking out the healer's tools.
Yeah, and like looking around at the room, Anita, like so much of these chemicals, whatever was in here before, is now lost and just spilled in like a weird glowing puddle at your feet. And for a moment, there's a bit of sadness as to just how valuable this stuff might have been had you been able to get your hands on it before it was smashed to pieces.
You may want to like walk out of this room soon, though. Saruk, I don't know the fumes.
Oh, yeah, fair.
All right, let me put this on my bed, and then
I'll try to treat wounds myself real quick once.
okay, I'll do treat wounds on Halbert. I can't do battle medicine anymore.
That's right.
Oh, with assurance. 2d8 for you, Halbert.
Insurance is fine. You can remove the sick. I'll remove the sick condition. So yeah, as you sort of clean out this alchemist lab, you find a little bit more valuables. But just taking a minute, like looking around, it seems like whatever was in here that might have been mostly of value or anything that they were looking for, it's been long since trashed, and it looks like they just sort of took all those little pesky creatures and shoved them in here and just closed the door and left them. Where'd they learn that trick from?
Oh.
Need to take 3 damage. Oh no.
Dead again.
Damn it, Anita! Not like this!
I accidentally stabbed myself.
2d8 got 6. That's
Not
bad.
like this. Not like this.
But as you guys sort of spend a minute patching yourselves up, still here in Kosowana's workshop with Jonia over in the corner doing his cool kung fu impressions, just kind of trying to like maybe grow up and be as cool as you guys. I think sort of the camera like pulls out and fades away from this workshop, still here in the western edge of Alkenstar, and that's where we're going to fade out at the end of tonight's episode.
Woo!
We've unlocked some.
It's always such a pleasure to play with you guys. I enjoy this
I'm
so
fun with
much.
you guys. I wasn't
Same,
feeling
same.
100%, but I've managed to put all of that out, and just with you guys, I feel great. I forgot how like sick I felt before we started streaming, so thank you for
Hell yeah.
removing my headache. And honestly, we had a lot of fun. We got to reveal a little bit. We got to have like a cute cat and a cute kid. There's got to be more cute stuff hidden in this workshop, right? Other than these piranha things that will like devour you. Maybe.
I like how everyone was just throwing it at their feet.
crash, 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 splash.
Fuck the splash damage. We have
You
enough.
basically prepared for this moment by loading up with alchemist bottles. Like next time this goddamn swarm, we're ready. You were ready. And it,
Never again.
Oh, we
Never
were
again.
yeah, exactly.
I think there will be other swarms. I think you are being ludicrously optimistic, sir. And I think you are being ludicrously optimistic.
But you handled it well,
God.
and you uncover some cool clues, including
Mhm.
227 being a key. The
227.
missing 227 in the book, in his book, the bookmark marked the sort of missing 227 passage. So You do have more leads to follow. Like you've unlocked this clue. There might be more clues in the workshop, but we at least have a lead to follow up on is what or where is passage 227 in the first place. These mysteries and more will possibly be uncovered next week when we play more Cradle of Quartz. So thank you guys for playing tonight. Like Tommy said, I had fun tonight. Big thanks, Ninna, Richard, Ricardo, Tommy. Always a pleasure. Always a big pleasure.
Woo! Thank you, guys. Thanks, Steve.
Also, before we do, I know, and thanks for bearing with us if you were here through all of our tech support, tech issues live. I feel like every tech issue that we've had all season, like all converged tonight. Even with that said, we still had a fun time, and I think it tended up being a good session. Anyways, however, for those of you out there who support us the most, I want to give a shout out right now to all of our patrons who support us on Patreon. Give us a look at patreon.com/recallknowledge so you can get behind the scenes look at some of our upcoming content, early releases before they hit YouTube, and your support goes a long way just to helping us. And we talk a lot about Cradle of Quartz. So as the names scroll up, big thank you David Sims, Jason Irvin, Mark Paquette, Awal Jalil, Derek Southworth, Ellie Boyle, Jay, Sandra Wagner, and Sam Skaggs. You guys are amazing and make this all possible. Thank you guys so much. Any other shout out? Oh, Molten Hosting. Thank you, Molten Hosting, for sponsoring tonight's episode. Use that code at checkout. It's Recall Knowledge.
One word.
That would be a singular word, Stephen.
Get the fuck out.
And you'll get your first month of service for free. Check them out at moltenhosting.com. Check out Bastion this Friday with Richard down there, going to be jamming us. Any other shout outs or things you guys want to shout out? Tommy, you always got awesome stuff going on.
I do. I gotta. Here's all of my links. Whatcha? Hi, my name is Tommy. I do this cool nerd thing on the internet called Black Dragon Gaming, where I make a bunch of third-party content, make YouTube videos, run professional games in Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition. You can find all my shit right there. This week, the thing about being self-employed when you have the brain that Tommy does is sometimes scheduling is hard. But sometime before the end of the month, the homebrew that I'm releasing, I release homebrew content for 1, 2, and Starfinder rated like once a month, and some of it gets published. Patreon at any tier gets you access this week. I am converting I think it is pronounced Golema, the Ancestry and Lost Omens Demongi expanse with the lots and lots of eyes that was scared of anything with just 2 eyes, right? I'm converting them to 1st edition. And I'm going to make some favorite class options for at least because I had someone join a Skull and Shackles game, and they're like, I really want to play a Golema. This basically takes place in the Mongi expanse, and so I rolled up the sleeves I never wear and busted it out. And yeah, that's basically, other than the other myriad multiple things which I talk about on the channel. And, that's the big one.
I do find it interesting. You see a lot of PF1E content ported to PF2, but this is going the other way, right? You're taking 2E content and backporting it to PF1.
I've done both. I also I use shield blocks in my 1E games, which obviously didn't exist in 2E, and all of my players who I run a lot of 1E games with have really, tomorrow I'm running Tyrant's Grasp, and the entire party is the stipulation when they built their characters was use a shield, do shield block. And it's been really cool because that makes you really powerful in 1st edition. So I can just here are 50 fucking zombies. 7 days to die.
Nice.
Love shield block.
Another thing I just remembered. Awesome news. Friend of the show and author of Punks in a Powder Keg, Vanessa Hoskins, has been hired full-time at Paizo as a developer now. So
nice.
she's flipping from the story side over to the sort of system side. So I'm interested to see what comes from that.
That is dope.
So,
Congratulations.
And there were a slew of other hires. Paizo's been expanding their sort of team, and that's pretty cool. But specifically Vanessa, since she wrote the first part of this book, and since she's been on our show, and we got to give a shout out to her. So good job.
Has Vanessa, she been on the show? Did I miss something?
Yeah, she transformed into a cat.
We did a one shot. We did a Dark Archives playtest one shot last year when it was during the playtest, and she came on and played a magical cat girl. It was fun.
Nice.
It was hilarious. You guys should watch it if you haven't yet.
You
might learn how to play Thaumaturge and what's the other one?
Psychic.
Psychic.
Yep.
Yeah. But now the classes are out for real too.
Like,
Psychics were OP
version.
during that playtest, so you guys should watch it.
They're
I
OP
played
now.
a pixie summoner named Puck.
Yeah, you
Who rode
did.
his Eidolon dragon.
Hell yeah.
It was a lot
I
of
was
fun.
playing a cleric named Ingrid.
That's
yeah,
right.
it was so
It was
cool.
very
In
good.
love with everybody.
That was we did it
Public
in like
chat supports.
the whole like veil. We did the whole thing like we were watching like an anime episode, so everything was just really super like cartoony, like Saturday morning anime cartoony filter through the whole show, and which is a little bit contrasting for the dark archives, but we made it work and it was a lot of fun.
That's
Yes.
true.
That's true, but it was
It
fun.
was fun.
Going, "Ah!"
Yes.
For my
Pretty
first
much.
action, I begin to gather power. Ah! And second action, ah! Third action.
7 sessions later.
So we're going to be back with more Cradle of Quartz action next week on November 2nd.
How's it already November?
It's November already.
Dang.
Have
It
a
was
nice
below
Halloween.
freezing here last night. I guess you guys don't have context for that.
We should be releasing our November map pack. That is all.
Yes.
Well, it's Abomination Vaults themed. Our take on the nightmare scene, and a couple takes on a few Alkenstar things. So check it out.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you're running Outlaws of Alkenstar and you might want some maps to help fill in some of the gaps that the book might not provide, we've got some maps coming in our Patreon. It's gonna be awesome. So check that out, as well as the Abomination Vaults map you're mentioning was a Patreon request. We have a request line open where our patrons can request specific maps that you might need for your games. One of them came through from David Sims that asked for this cool nightmare map that Rick's talking about. You're going to want to see it because it looks really cool. And although it's tailored for David's game, that doesn't mean you might not find use for it at your table too, right?
Like
If
niche
you-
maps like that are so goddamn useful. Like there've been so many times. Never have I ever jammed an Alkenstar, but I've jammed in a lot of weird situations where a lot of my prep is, I guess I'm gonna spend 2 hours on Google. Who's released a map in this niche? No one? All right, I'm making it my fucking self, I guess. Who's released a map?
So definitely go and check that out. And if you are a patron, get on the different channels and let Rick know what you're looking for. And if he has space, probably in his December map pack. And if you're not a patron, but you want a map, check out our Patreon and ask Rick for a map. That's going to do it for tonight, though. Like I said, we'll be back in November, which is rough to say, but like, geez, the year's going by fast. November 2nd, 7 o'clock Pacific, to continue Cradle of Quartz. Have a happy Halloween. Stay away from the rainbow fentanyl that they're going to be trying to sneak into your bags.
That's a misconception, Stephen. No one's giving free drugs to kids. Drugs are expensive. Thank you.
Make sure you take a shower this week.
Yeah,
Stay
Richard,
safe.
Take a fucking shower.
Stay healthy. Goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Dance party, go, go, go.
Oh, dance party time. I don't have it up.
I only danced to Ecuadorian polka. Thank you.
All right,
Oh my
I'll fucking
God.
download it. Don't tempt me, sir.
Is there Ecuadorian polka? I have no
I
idea.
think we're gonna.
I
Here
don't
goes the
know.
YouTube
Let's see,
search. I'm gonna fuck up my cookies forevermore.
Is it on vinyl? Because if it's not on vinyl,
Oh
it's
my-
not acceptable.
I have Italian polka.
I'm torn between wanting you to play a whole character in that vein and like finding a way to kill you off in the first session. So, anyways, dance party
You
go.
wrote that. This is your fault.
You did it
Why
too
am I
well. That's on
speed
you.
capping this? I'm gonna copy this link and I'm gonna put it in our Discord in the place that only the Alkenstar can. Well, yeah, no one will have context if I just jam this somewhere. I'm gonna leave that there.
All right.
Put it in all your channels.
Fucking thing.
Oh, that's some good music going. All right. See you guys next week. Enjoy
Yes, sir.
your week. We'll see you next time.
Whoa!